What do you say, everybody? Roll Tide. It's time for Elephant in the Room. We got some fun stuff to talk about. Today is the SEC top heavy. And could the SEC be adding a couple of new teams? And which ACC team is going to be the team that comes to the SEC? Because you know they're the ones that won out. What's the worst locker room in the conference? Because Eli Drinkowitz of Missouri has one, but I got a feeling that Jay Coker is going to have a different one. Hey, brought to you by Pearl River Resort, Philadelphia, Mississippi. Now's the time. Get over to the sports book at the Golden Moon Casino, Timeout Sports Lounge. You got all the stuff you want there. You can go lay your money down on Bama and the SEC, unlike what we're hearing from some ACC coaches. So let's get into this show. I don't want to butcher the open any worse than I already have. So let me just go ahead and play this open. Rise and shine. Coker, I'm Mick Gillispie. What's up, man?
What's going on? Doing all right?
Doing great. Early bird edition.
That's right. Got a lot to talk about, too. Man, the ACC throwing a lot of shade without a whole lot of ammo.
No. Well, let me just get into this right here. You brought this up. I thought it was pretty funny. SEC's top heavy, according to the SMU football coach. And they're saying that only the top schools have won championships, right? Bama, LSU, Florida, Auburn, Tennessee even won one. Georgia's won multiple titles. But there's a lot of other teams in there that are competitive. It's funny hearing that from the ACC. You played in both conferences. You played in an ACC that was tougher than the one they have now, which kind of reminded me of the majors. I was surprised to hear that. Tell me what he was talking about in your thoughts.
Well, I mean, it's to say the SEC's top heavy. There's been 6 teams to win national titles since 1964. I mean, you know, back in those days, that was 50% of the freaking conference. It's 12 teams in it. You know, I mean, and then you brought Texas, Oklahoma. I mean, if you include those schools, they've won national titles since then. You know, A&M, Missouri. You know, I hate to trash Missouri because I like Eli Drinkwitz, and he has brought that program around, and I guess their first few years they did have pretty good success in the SEC. I think they made it to the SEC championship a few times, and now that side of the conference had been weak those years. But I mean, we played them in 2014 in the SEC championship. I think they were in it the year before, playing Auburn. So they had a couple runs there. You know, that school to me wasn't quite your traditional SEC program, but have ended up, you know, playing pretty well, and I think being a part of the SEC has helped them reach the next level. Because once you get in the SEC, I mean, it's kind of like, you know, you either sink or swim. You're playing against the best in the country, and either, I mean, you know, you kind of disappear at the bottom of the conference, or you know, it's more exciting for recruits. They come to games. There's more energy in those stadiums. There's more people there. I mean, it's a hell of a recruiting tool. But, you know, again, for Rhett Lashley to say this is a top-heavy conference, I mean, the ACC, you've got, you know, especially when I was there, you had Clemson, Florida State, and that was pretty much it. I mean, Miami was when I first got to Florida State, Miami was totally irrelevant. I mean, we'd go down and play in Miami, and that was a rivalry game, and there were empty seats everywhere. You know, I mean, it just didn't have the energy that I thought it would have, being a rivalry game, you know. Now, when they played it in Florida State or in Tallahassee, the place was packed, and it was a great atmosphere. But, you know, you just don't have those. You don't even really have a number of traditionally good schools. In the SEC, you've got, again, at least 6 who have won national championships in the last 4 decades. So he's grasping for straws here. You look at, I know the ACC has caught a lot of hell due to the playoff performance last year, and to me, it's pretty well deserved. I mean, he says they're one of the top 3 conferences in the country. Well, after the SEC and the Big Ten, who really gives a damn about the conferences outside of those 2 anymore? And again, I respect Clemson and Florida State and SMU, but outside of that, I mean, you're not turning a game on Saturday to watch Virginia play, Wake Forest. It's not happening. SEC, I don't care. Even your lower tier, if you want to call them that, lower tier SEC schools are the ones that haven't won national championships. Kentucky, South Carolina, if they're playing Saturday, that's an exciting game for me to watch. There's talent. There's still talent all over the field. You got, and South Carolina, I mean, they're going to be a great team this year. They're going to be a really good team this year. But Mark Stoops has turned Kentucky into a team that can compete with just about anybody on their day. I mean, look at Vandy now. They beat us last year. They've got some exciting things going on in Nashville. I think Florida's going to be pretty good with DJ Lagway. I think this is kind of the year they turn it around. And then the rest of your conference. I mean, it speaks for itself. You're talking about blue blood schools that always have a chance, and they're always going to get recruits. And so, I mean, look. Guys throwing shade at the SEC. If Rhett Lashley was at Florida next year, then he'd be talking about SEC is the best school in the conference. When I went to Alabama and we had coaches come in and coach in the SEC for the first time, I mean, it's funny to just have conversations with them about, because we'd play, those teams that you say aren't as good or that aren't in the national championship picture, and it was just laughable because they'd have just animals on defense, and for some reason they play in the SEC, so they just didn't have a lot of wins. But if they were in any other conference, they'd be a 9-win team. So there's definitely a disparity in talent. I mean, there's no doubt about it. It's so obvious, and the SEC is historically the best conference in the country. I'm a little biased, I guess you could say. The Big Ten, that they've had their moments in the past, but in the last 20, really, I mean, since I've been alive, the SEC has been, the dominant conference, maybe outside of the early 2000s when Miami and Ohio State were hot, but again, these arguments are just they're getting more and more laughable.
Well, when you talk about like the ACC, just isn't a whole lot of interest. And you mentioned that, like, there's no the TV ratings aren't good. The people aren't showing up for the games. I mean, Clemson and Florida State aside, like the rest of the conference is just, they're just teams that people don't care about in college football. And it's funny that SMU, who had no wins last year, and in my opinion, that were valuable, they're the poster boy for the entire change in philosophy on the college football playoff, because they got in and it felt like they backdoored their way in, playing a weak schedule, barely getting by on teams that would have been destroyed in the SEC. And then to hear their coach talk about this. And then the other thing was Bama went in there and ripped Keelan Russell away from them, their quarterback commitment. And I think that's part of this. Just talk about that.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. I think, what was it, Ole Miss who had the easiest schedule on paper last year, and they still had to play, they still had to play Georgia, I know, and they beat Georgia. They still had to go down to Florida. I mean, you at least had games where, that were do or die games that you couldn't just show up and win. And that's the thing. SEC, you can't just show up and win. SMU, I'm trying to remember the games they played in which their opponents were ranked or I mean, Clemson, the ACC title game was the only one that I remember really, and they lost the game. I mean, and similar to then the playoff. I mean, the two teams they played with any weight to them, I mean, they lose. It's just, I don't know. That's what he's coming up with arguments, and he's got no ammunition whatsoever, in my opinion.
We'll see what happens this
But
year.
he's got to do what he's got to do.
Right.
I mean, again, you go to these games, and I've made the jokes before. You go to these games, and there's not a ton of people in the stands at the Marylands, the Wake Forest, the Dukes. I mean, it's the feel for an SEC atmosphere is so much stronger. I mean, it just means more. It does just mean more. There's people everywhere. There's excitement. The stadiums are full, and it's good football. Again, you're not just showing up on a Saturday and half-assing your way to a victory in the SEC. And I hate to say that about the ACC, and you can lose to anybody, but the schedule is far more consistent in the SEC as being tougher week in and week out.
Guys, thanks for hanging out with us here on Elephant in the Room. And as we've talked about many times, we are presented by Residence Inn by Marriott Ocean City. Our friend Keith, former wrestler, by the way, and a guy that loved the Hawkster, just like me, is the guy that runs the show there. Back to back, Coastal Style Hotel of the Year. Great place, Ocean City. A big Bama fan, and the Next Round guys actually did their show there. Sunsets, awesome seafood, crab cakes, steamed crabs, the boardwalk, all of that stuff at Ocean City. So check those guys out and tell them Roll Tide when you go there. Be like, oh, Maryland? Yeah, Maryland. Maryland, Alabama brings in Maryland guys. They're always good. They've got a 5-star from Maryland that's already committed. So pretty good spot for football, a great spot for seafood, and we appreciate them being part of our show. So with that said, you got Lashley talking about the SEC being top heavy, which to me is just crap. The thing that makes the SEC great is that the teams at the bottom can beat the teams at the top. That does not happen in the ACC. Besides that, the teams at the bottom, the top of the ACC normally are the bottom teams anyway, because their conference is so bad. Like they may have like one or two good teams, really good teams, like a Clemson or a Florida State, and then the rest of it's just like a not very good teams.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, you got. I mean, Clemson wins the ACC title last year, and they lost to South Carolina, a team that was probably third or fourth best in the SEC. And got left out of the playoff because of the teams they had to play in the SEC. It's I mean, and that's another thing when you talk about the SEC being top heavy. Well, when you play a schedule like that, year in, year out, then you have to be as flawless as possible, to get to that title game. And it's not easy. I mean, you're not going to have years where you get 12 cupcakes and you get to make a playoff, like SMU did last year. It's just not, that's not going to happen. You may get a little lucky with a lot of home games where let me put it this way, where your home schedule, you play your toughest games at home. But again, you're going to play top 5, top 10 teams probably multiple times within the year. You're not going to have an unranked schedule from week 1 to week 12. And I think they played BYU. I think BYU was their only ranked game. Am I right on that?
Yeah, and I don't even count BYU. So let me switch gears here and talk about the SEC possibly realigning with two teams from the ACC. And it's rumored that Clemson and North Carolina are the two teams that could potentially jump and join the SEC. I would think that Florida State would be a good fit. I mean, that the rivalries, I mean, Bama's playing there this year, but Auburn and Florida State would be a good rivalry. The other two, Florida being in the same state as the University of Florida, they play every year, but that'd be a great conference rivalry too. I can't imagine your old school Florida State being left out, but UNC is a big brand. All of a sudden your basketball takes an enormous jump. I can't imagine UNC not being in the ACC just for basketball's sake. And then to me, Clemson, if I was South Carolina, University of South Carolina, I don't know if I'd want Clemson in there.
I mean, to me, and I don't know what the hesitation is or what the surrounding argument or barriers to entry are for Florida State, but the no-brainer here, I've been saying it for years, Florida State and Clemson are, I mean, those are SEC schools stuck in the ACC. I mean, Florida State, it would benefit Florida State so much by being in the SEC. I absolutely love Florida State. It's I mean, they've got it's an SEC culture down there. Clemson the same way. They're Southern schools. If we used to play again when we'd play Virginia or NC State, Maryland. The stadium was not filled up. There wasn't a ton of energy. You go to Bryant Denny for any game, and it's exciting. I mean, there's a lot of people there. I feel like it's always sold out. And that's because just throughout the year you have a few games that aren't in conference and that, maybe a Coastal Carolina or something, but everybody loves Alabama football because you're playing good teams all the time, and it's easy to be excited about, and people still show up for the small games at Florida State. When I was there, there wasn't a whole lot of attendance for conference games unless it was Clemson or Miami. It'd be so beneficial for them. It would change the school overnight, in my opinion, or change the football program overnight, in my opinion. Clemson, I think they're pretty similar to SEC schools in terms of attendance. I mean, there's people at all those games. That atmosphere is wild. When we used to go there, when I was at Florida State, it was always packed out. One of the loudest stadiums I've been to. They fit the mold. North Carolina, to me, that's a blue blood ACC school, and I think they should stay in the ACC. I don't think they're at basketball. Obviously, they would come in and fit right into the SEC. I mean, there's no doubt about that. No matter who they play or where they play, they're
right.
Everybody's excited about playing North Carolina in basketball, but football wise, I mean, we're a football-dominated conference. You want Clemson and Florida State in there. And even though Florida State struggled the last 2 years, I mean, historically they've got the resume to be in the SEC, and that needs to happen. And how awesome would that be? I mean, to add those two schools that people are excited to play. I think if you add North Carolina, you're kind of adding and no disrespect to Missouri, but you're kind of adding another Missouri there where there's not a whole lot of excitement historically from that football program, or at least that's my perception. And so it's not one you circle on the schedule. Clemson and Florida State, you circle that because it's cool to beat those teams, no matter how good they are.
Well, UNC though, from a financial standpoint, would be great. Get the North Carolina TV market, the Charlotte area. They're the team that runs the state of North Carolina. Clemson makes no sense to me. I mean, they're South Carolina. You already have South Carolina with University of South Carolina. I would think that if you were looking at it from just like a TV and then stretching your brand, you would take UNC and Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech, they run the state of Virginia. And or maybe you do 4. I mean, who cares anymore, right? I mean, like, what if you took Virginia Tech, North Carolina, Clemson, and Florida State? I mean, that and if for all intents and purposes, I mean, you're pretty much gutting the ACC. But I love the idea of stretching it out that direction over to the Atlantic coast. Getting UNC, see, here's the thing, competition-wise. You take UNC out of the ACC, and that's a huge loss for them.
That's a knife to the heart of the ACC. I mean, it's pretty much over at that point.
Yeah, I mean
that's their crown jewel.
Yeah, and if I'm UNC, I'm going to go ahead and invest in the football stadium, build up the facilities, and want to try to compete in football and basketball. But I'm guess from like, if you're the SEC and you're looking at like your TV packages and stuff, adding UNC helps you basically build revenue, because all of a sudden now every time they play, they're like Bama football. Like, there's a national following that goes along with them.
Yeah, and that's a valid point. Obviously that's a valid point that I hadn't really thought about, which I mean, just thinking historical football performance kind of drove my argument, but now that you're saying that, it makes more sense.
Yeah, money-wise, I mean, I thought that Missouri they're the ones I'd get rid of. I've never thought Missouri belongs in the SEC. I can't stand them, and we're about to talk about their coach. I would have taken West Virginia, because West Virginia is, believe it or not, it is a huge brand in the Mid-Atlantic. And they love college football, and they would have brought some interest to the TV views, and they're pretty competitive in all the sports. But even more so to me, Virginia Tech fits that even better. But UNC's, I mean, if you're trying to basically run the ACC out of town, take UNC, and then all of a sudden, whoever you take second, it's like, it doesn't really matter. I mean, like, you could take Clemson, you could take Florida State, but either one of them is going to hurt the ACC an awful lot. It's like when Maryland left. You didn't think a whole lot about it, but then all of a sudden, it's like, now you don't have in basketball the Maryland Duke, the Maryland North Carolina rivalry, and it gave the Big Ten the Mid-Atlantic viewership, right? Because there's a lot of people that love Maryland basketball. So let me switch gears here and talk about this. And I want to remind you guys that you can catch all of our shows on the Cover Crimson Podcast Network. And you can download it, Apple, Spotify, anywhere that you get your podcasts. And when you do that, make sure that you hit the reoccurring button, where it'll continue to download those. Clint Lamb and I are going to do shows every day through football season. Jake and I will be doing Elephant in the Room, and any kind of live show that we do, obviously our game day coverage. So please do that. Be part of what we're trying to put together here on Cover Crimson. We've been doing great. I mean, the channel is growing, and we appreciate you guys so much for helping us do that. And if you could give us a thumbs up on this video and subscribe if you're not a subscriber. The other thing is that I like to look good on game day. I like to look good when we're doing our shows, our tailgate show, places like the Floribama and Innisfree. And the way that I do that is with Rowback.com. Jake, you love Rowback too.
Wear it all the time. That's my go-to. If I'm playing golf, I'm wearing Rowback.
20% off when you use our promo code Crimson20. Got all kind of really cool Bama styles, and take advantage of that. Each email address, by the way.
The best, the pullovers though. That hoodie's probably my favorite. That's probably my favorite thing I own. Honestly, I wear those things all the time.
Yeah, I've got a couple Rowbacks just put aside that are new for special occasions. And one of them's white, and maybe the reason that I got it put aside is because I can't keep food off my shirts.
The guy's a slob.
I I guess. And the other thing I'll tell you is that Dancing Rabbit Golf Course in Philadelphia, the two of us are going to be there really soon, but that's a great place to wear your Roback gear too. All right, let's get to another topic here before we lose everyone's interest. Eli Drinkowitz, he is the head coach at Missouri. I don't know why he hates Tennessee, but he says the worst locker room in the country, the worst visiting locker room, excuse me, in the SEC is at Tennessee. Now, I knew when I heard this that Missouri must not have played at Auburn.
Yeah, I mean, looking back now, Tennessee was awful. I mean, it was pretty awful. I mean, Tennessee, Ole Miss was pretty bad. I mean, Auburn to me took the cake though. That was the. I mean, again, I've never been to prison, but I would imagine that's what it feels like.
Bathroom stalls without doors.
And there's nowhere to tape your ankles except right there in the bathroom, right next to the stalls. I mean, let me tell you what, man, it felt medieval in there.
How comfortable can you get taping your ankles when you're watching somebody take a shit?
Well, let me tell you, you're excited to go play because it gets you out of that damn locker room. I mean, you do not want to spend much time in that locker room. It is, golly. I remember getting my ankles taped and just head down the whole time. Didn't say a word, just ready to go. Trying to, let's see. I guess Georgia wasn't all that bad. I tell you, Maryland was terrible too. I know you're a Maryland guy. I mean, there was, you had to share these little 8x8 lockers. I felt like with a teammate, and you had to, like a third of the guys get changed because there wasn't enough room. You had to wait on the next guy to get changed because it's just a disaster. I guess it's all on purpose. I mean, I guess they all do it on purpose, just to get in your head a little bit or something. But, man, Texas A&M wasn't bad if I remember right. Let's see. I did have to go into the Alabama visitor locker room for the spring game, and it's not like blow you away nice, but at least it's bigger. At least you got room to move around in there.
Right. Didn't you say Auburn's locker room was painted pink or something?
I don't remember that.
Somebody else. I'm thinking of something else then. You just said they didn't have bathroom doors, though.
Yeah, they did not have bathroom doors. Unfortunately, I remember that pretty vividly. Those things.
Somebody was taking a shit right in front of you. Somebody was like this, looking at you. Like, what do you do when you're on the pot? Like, what are you looking at?
You're
not making eye contact, are you?
I'm not even gonna name the guy's name, but he was trying to tape up toilet paper so that accidental eye contact didn't happen. He's putting toilet paper on like at eye level, so eye contact would never be made.
I walked into a bar one time. I was in Louisville. I walked into a bar. And I was getting a drink, and I was like, "Gotta go to the bathroom." I walk in the bathroom, and it was like one of those deals where it was like, a urinal, and then a shitter, and this guy that looked like he might have just gotten off a motorcycle and out of prison was like sitting, like looking right at me when I walked in, and I was like, like beard down to his like belly, and just a big burly dude, and I thought, I can hold this. Check, please. I realized that wasn't the vibe for me.
Yeah. I mean, whew. That'll That'll dampen the mood for sure. No doubt about it.
That'll sober you up, if you know what I mean.
Time to go to bed.
That's what I knew. Now, this was like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. This wasn't even late. when like
all right, so hotel beers.
yeah, right. That's late at night. Oh my god.
I've had enough of this town.
Yeah. Oh my god. Wow. Oh man. Couple other things I wanted to get to before we got out of here. Nick Saban addressed his he addressed his coaching rumors and pretty much made it clear that he will be staying right where he is in the media. Did you ever think that he was seriously considering coming back?
No. I mean, I'm sure he has moments like where he's losing his mind. Like when he's running the sweeper downstairs. I don't know if you saw that clip. Yeah. But man, I just don't think he's. It's like we've talked about before. I don't think he's going to do something unless he's 100% in. And I think he's got that little bit of doubt, that he's got the energy to do it. Man, again, when I talked to him at the reunion last year, he's just like, man, the intensity of this stuff, I don't think I can keep up.
Yeah.
Just on and off the field, and coaching like he used to, going through 3 headsets a game. I mean, I don't know if he's got it in him. Which he needs to, man. He needs to relax, just chill out and have fun, watch those games, and he is, to me, now he's the most entertaining personality on game day. I love it. I love the old school, commentating. You're not going to find guys like that. Well, he's one of one. I mean, he's the best to ever do it. So, you're not going to find a guy like that, I think, ever again on game day. And I mean, waking up on Saturday morning and watching game day is one of my favorite. I mean, that's one of my favorite things to do. It puts me in the best mood, just waking up knowing you got college football and Coach Saban's on, Pat McAfee, Herb Street. I love that. Reese Davis. I mean, I guess, when did that show start? In the 90s, early 90s?
I mean, maybe the late 80s.
I mean, you think about how it's going to be. I don't know how they replicate that when Reese Davis, Kirk Herbstreit, all those guys are gone. I really don't. They've had that same crew and I guess Chris Fowler was on it earlier.
Look, man, I think you can replicate it. I like Herbstreit, but I mean, there's somebody else out there that could do it. You just got to find the right people. The biggest problem that TV networks have is they pick people sometimes not based on the entertainment value. They pick people based on like politics and stuff. I mean, what's the best show on? I mean, I'm in this business. What's the best show of any of the shows? The best show isn't Game Day. The best show is the NBA show, NBA Live with Charles Barkley and Shaq. And those guys, and it's because they're just great. They're just entertaining. Like there's no like, hey, we got to do this and we got to do that. When you start getting into, well, we're going to put this person on because we want this, and basically it has to do with like race or gender instead of entertainment value, you get bad shows. And I think that by far the NBA Live show is the best show, and it's because the guys on the show are the best. They're just great. They're entertaining. They're funny. They're engaging. They don't give a shit either, right? College Game Day, you got good people there, and Nick Saban's definitely one of them. But if those guys left and you went and found the right people, it could still be a great show.
Yeah, I mean,
that's just my opinion from being in this business.
I mean, well, McAfee and Saban were.
What are you picking people for? Are they entertaining, or are you picking them because you're trying to like check boxes?
Yeah, I mean McAfee and Coach Saban. I mean they
Right.
because Corso he was one of my favorite. He was like
Right.
kind of like North Carolina, the ACC. He was like the crown jewel of that show. You know, what I mean,
Right.
entertaining. And when I watch that show, I really don't even care too much about what they say football wise. I love the commentary,
Right.
the excitement behind them in the stands. I mean, the commentary is a small part of it. And now I listen to Coach Saban. You know, when he talks, I love listening to him talk football because he's so invested in it. I mean, he can't sit still and not pay attention and watch. It's so fun when I saw him at that, at the reunion. He was talking about, how much he's watching film and diving into it, and you know, he can't do a half-assed job. You watch Kirk Herbstreit talk about Coach Saban asking them, for feedback and like, kind of getting like really intense, asking for feedback. Like y'all help me out here. Tell me was that good? What do I need to do here? I need more? Freaking, I freaking love it. Uh, but yeah, it makes you. I mean, you start to wonder who. I don't know how they keep that show going when you lose. All those main personalities. We'll see, but I mean, Pat
Right.
McAfee show. They may replace it with just Pat McAfee show. I don't know.
I mean, look, they've got. I think they're in good shape for right now. But if anybody can fuck it up, it's ESPN.
I mean,
All right.
that's got to be their most. That's got to be their in terms of a 2 hour show. That's got to be their biggest revenue or money making show that on ESPN.
It's got to be. All right. Last thing is President Trump pushes to remove pay for play. He signed an executive order. Basically, that's going to prohibit third-party pay for play payments to players. I think this is great. They needed to do something, and then maybe you take this and or Democrats and Republicans get together and save college athletics, because what's going on right now is ruining college sports.
Well, so I don't really know what. I mean, I haven't. I've seen the headline on this, but I don't know what's actually in this executive order. I mean, when he says third party pay for play, what exactly is he referring?
You can't come in and like it has to be real NIL. Like you have to be getting value for. You can't just they can't be paying players from high school to come play football in college. You can't like basically the money has to go through the athletic department, and then the athletic department decides where the money's going. Like it is right now. Like all these businesses can just pay people whatever they want to have them come play. Like Barstool paying the quarterback that was going to go to LSU to go to Michigan. Like all that stuff's supposed to be going now.
Yeah, I mean, I that's going to be pretty tough, in my opinion. I don't know how you. That's going to be a tough fight to win, in my opinion. I don't know how you stop. I mean, who's to say what Barstool did in paying that quarterback wasn't I mean wasn't a real NIL deal? Is he going to be on Barstool shows? Is he going to wear the Barstool brand? I mean, I know what they did. Just Dave Portnoy, he just paid him to go to Michigan. But I mean, how is that not a marketing deal or a sponsorship deal? Because I don't think you can stop that, right?
Yeah, I think you can. I think you have to. That there's a just like the NCAA. There's a committee that looks at it, a non-biased committee, and says, "Hey, are they paying so and so to come on and be a representative for Barstool? Or is he going on Elephant in the Room, so and so, and talking? I mean, or are we paying a player just to show up and play football? And basically, it's supposed to be amateur athletics. So if you want to start a league that's a professional league, then go do that and call it the XFL or call it, whatever, USFL, and have college go back to being as amateur as you can make it again. Because what's going on right now is ruining the game. Just to know that the team that spends the most money on a roster is going to win, which is what Ohio State did last year and what Texas is trying to do this year. It's going to be tough to beat Texas. Ohio State just went out and bought everybody's best players that they wanted.
Yeah.
And there was no repercussion. They didn't lose anything from it. They just got their donors to pay it,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I got you. Look, you and I are on the same page with this. I mean, if it's done the right way, then I do, I think kids should be able to make some money now. Again, just the insanity of the way money's getting thrown around still blows my mind. I didn't think it'd last this long. I didn't think. I mean, I can't imagine spending that kind of money on a guy who's never played a snap before in college football. But I mean, you got that kind of money to throw around. I guess it really doesn't matter.
Final thing on the show today is Anthony Tank Jones making his decision, 5-star edge from St. Paul's, picking between Oregon, Alabama, and then Texas A&M's in there. Texas A&M to me is the school that just helps you raise your money, right? Because they're just going to throw a lot of money at you. But I think it's down to Oregon and Alabama. On my show with Shank, he basically says the thing that Tank's got to remember is unless you want to live in Oregon, going to Alabama and being part of the Crimson Tide program is going to help you a lot more than just playing football. Because for the rest of your life, you played football at Alabama, and he said that the Alabama community looks out for you.
Yeah, I mean, I say this all the time. It's a brotherhood once you played in this for Alabama. You get opportunities every step. Nothing's ever given to you, but you get opportunities from playing at Alabama that you otherwise wouldn't get if you played somewhere else. And if you plan on living in Alabama, I mean, I've said, just looking at his school choices, to me, it's either he wants to go to Alabama, but the money's telling him he may need to look at other schools. I mean, to me, that's what that decision comes down to. And it's tough not to go to the school you want to go to, and that's always going to linger in the back of your mind if money's the reason why you're going somewhere. It's hard to just go play for a paycheck rather than playing for a school that that tugs at your heart a little bit.
Yep.
So,
well said, my friend. You think he comes to Bama, or is he going to Oregon?
I mean, I've never talked to Tank before, so I don't know, but I mean, just looking at that spread of schools, to me, it sounds like he wants to go to Alabama.
Yep. Okay. Be a 5-star. He's an amazing talent. I think that I've said from the beginning, of all the players in state, he's the one that you want to get. They've gotten 3 amazing players from the state of Alabama. They got a 4th guy that's up and coming. This right here is the guy that you just don't want to let, like Peter Woods going to Clemson. You just don't want to lose these guys, these difference makers from your program that can, you can build your defense around, and he's that kind of guy. And he can be an impact player right away.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, Alabama, I know they've put their time in on Tank. I mean, I think you've done all you can do. You're the in-state school. You're positioned perfectly. I mean, of all 3 of those schools, I'd rather be Alabama than anybody else in terms of recruiting him. So I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I can't imagine going out to Oregon being from Alabama. I just can't. I mean, that to me, it's Jim Dunaway had a good one yesterday. I think it was yesterday when he was talking to Joel Klatt. Joel's talking about all the facilities they're building. This is so nice. They're redoing this, and And Jim said, "Well, it'd be nice if they could build a trophy case." I mean,
Nice one.
yeah, you hear about Oregon, and Dan Lanning to me he's a great coach, and I do think he's going to get them there, at some point. But Oregon to me is, I don't know, when you look at Oregon, it's new uniforms every Saturday, not a whole lot of continuity. Sure, it's flashy, but I don't know. It doesn't have that college football tradition that Alabama has, or I mean, I don't even know if they have the same kind of tradition Texas A&M has.
Right.
I don't remember Oregon ever being really historically good. Now I may be way off on that, but I feel like when Phil Knight got involved and started pumping money into it, it's when you started hearing about it, and most of what you heard about was the flashy uniforms and the facilities. Now, I mean, they were good in the Marcus Mariota days, and they're good now. But I just, I
They weren't
don't
good in the
know.
playoff last year, Jake.
Huh?
They weren't good in the playoff last year.
Yeah, I mean, you're right about that.
Woo, that was a rough one.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Oregon's just never they've never been a team that I've looked at and just been like blown away and respected. I mean, I respect Ohio State. I've I respect some of those non SEC schools that do have the players and do have a great foundation for their program. I mean, I guess I respect Oregon. I just don't have that same level of respect for them that I do, these other schools. I just don't. I don't know. I've always felt like they're flashy, and they may show up, they may not.
That's putting it right where it is. Hey guys, we're going to be at Pearl River Resort really soon in Philadelphia, Mississippi. We go there quite often, and we want to invite you guys to come as well. Dancing Rabbit Golf Course is the Augusta you can play. Jake, you know about playing golf. You play at a ton of places. Dancing Rabbit is as nice as you're going to find anywhere in the South. I mean, they call it the Augusta you can play because you don't have to have a membership. Just get your rowback gear, come in looking good, and go out there and hit the golf course. You can stay at the clubhouse, which is great, right? And you open it up, it's like the 18th hole right out your window. Which you got to like that, right? Isn't it crazy? Like when you open those blinds and you're like right there on the veranda.
Yeah. Hey, there was one thing I also wanted to add to that is because when I'm talking about Oregon like that, I remember watching an interview on Bill Curry, or Bill Curry was being interviewed, and it may have been a 30 for 30, or it might have been about Derek Thomas. But he talks about coaching in other places, and then he gets to Alabama, and he talks about just the mentality of players at Alabama versus other places he had been. And it's like there's just absolutely no quit in them. They don't quit. They play the entirety of the game, and it's like he couldn't put a finger on it, but all he had to say about it was like it's just the Alabama culture, And I think there's something about these schools when you go there and there's that much history, and you got players that came before you that won national championships, and there's a standard there. That's kind of what I'm referring to. I mean, when you go to a school, like you're either all in and you're either all in and you play with an intensity that's hard to keep up with. I mean, you just outlast people and you fight until you got nothing left. And that's kind of what I'm referring to. I don't know if Oregon's there yet, and so that's why I say Alabama. I mean, when you go there, you can feel that tradition. I mean, when you wake up in the morning, you go work out at 5:30. I mean, that people have put that work in before you, and you feel like you're living up to a standard by being there on time and being accountable and doing what you're supposed to do. If that makes any sense. And
Yeah, it does. But I'm trying to close the show. So.
Yeah. Okay. All right. See you later.
We're gonna go an hour, and people are like, "This is a long show." Like, we don't know. No, I hear what you. I'm just kidding. I hear what you're saying. I think, be honest with you, I think I've met a lot of Oregon fans, especially when I lived in California. They want to be USC. They don't, like Jim Dunaway said, they don't have the trophy cabinet yet, but they're building in that direction. They got the right coach, and it's a good program. It's just in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it's on the other side of the world from where we're at right now. We're in the epicenter of college football. If I'm Tank, there's no damn way I'm going to Oregon. I see him on TV in Portland, and all the stuff going on there. I wouldn't want to be a part of that. I love it right in this state, in the state of Alabama. Even I'm in Tennessee right now. It's a great place too. There's enough college football going on around here. You can get to the NFL from Alabama. And to me, it's just, why would you go somewhere else when you can, like you said, walk through that locker room and be part of something that's a lot bigger than yourself, but that your state's defined by, and you grow up being a fan of a team like you did and being a dream to play there. Don't let the money sway you from doing the things that you do. I mean, and with the transfer portal, I mean, like, give Alabama a chance. If you don't like a transfer, you're not stuck there. But going all the way out to Oregon, I can't even imagine that. It'd be like when I lived in Hawaii, people asked me why I didn't like Hawaii. I just felt like I was so removed from my friends and family.
Yeah.
Oregon kind of feels the same way to me. So anyway, look, guys, as I was saying before, we're brought to you by Pearl River Resort, Philadelphia, Mississippi. We're going to be there soon. Also, if you're a fan of our Tailgate radio show, and we are putting that together right now as well. We'll be back on the airwaves before every Alabama football game. We record the show Fridays at 1:00. We've posted some of our visiting schedule. We're working on Florida State, going to Tallahassee, and then 3 of the home games we're going to be in Orange Beach. And I know some of you guys are going to actually plan your vacation, but we want you to come by and hang out with us when we're doing the show. We're going to be at the Friday before South Carolina, before Georgia, and before Auburn, down there working with the Floribama Coastal. So come by and see us. And maybe we'll have some special guests. Ryan Anderson loves to swing over and hang with us. We love when he does that. It really is. I can't wait, man. Like, it's stressful because I got to put everything together, but it's also exciting because it's like, man, we're about to be rolling here with our football show.
Yeah. It's about that time of year. Gosh, it can't get here fast enough.
The Coker Bowl is going to be really intense, that show.
Yeah, that's right. If we survive.
And they might rip us apart down there.
Yeah. When I make my picks, I might get thrown out.
If you guys are going to Tallahassee, we'll tell you where we're going to be that Friday when we put our show together. But anyway, thanks for hanging out with us on the show today. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. We will do it again later this week. And roll tide, everybody.
Roll tide.
Escape to Pearl River Resort.